Because the Dragon Prince has been renewed for its entire run, ending with Season 7, we no longer have to worry that our theorizing is pointless. There will be more of this show to talk about. The show already amazed us in its first few seasons, and every season since then has added more mystery and intrigue and nuance. This is one of the shows that actively improves with every passing season. You don't know how few shows you can say that about. And with the show's consistently great quality, it has attracted a huge amount of fans offering their theories on what has happened and what's going to happen. Thus, I think we should investigate these theories and evaluate how likely they are to occur in the show itself. Now, if I do not happen to mention your favorite theory, just drop it in the comments. I'm interested. Don't fret. I'm sure there are a lot of really cool theories about this show that I've never even heard about. It's that kind of show. There are so many people generating all these wonderful hypotheses. Theory number 1. Harrow is secretly alive. I frequent the Dragon Prince subreddit, as I might have mentioned before, and on that subreddit there is something of a running joke that every new person who comes onto the subreddit after having watched the show posts the same exact theory about how King Harrow is not really dead and how his soul is in the bird. Now, I must admit that I am not particularly fond of this theory, even aside from how cliche it is. Is it wrong, necessarily? Is it impossible? Maybe not. But if his soul was in the bird, wouldn't that have been revealed by now? Why would you keep delaying that? In addition to this, I find the theory broadly implausible, but that's not the major reason why I oppose it. No, I rather dislike it because it contradicts much of what we know about the character. Harrow is the kind of noble king who genuinely believes his rhetoric about how a leader should be willing to bear any burden he is willing to pass on to his people. Him saving himself would completely undercut that. Is that bad, necessarily? Well, it doesn't have to be, but it would transform this into a different kind of show. A kind of show that's much more cynical about the idealistic attitudes opined by people like Harrow. It would be a much more morally gray, even nihilistic show. It reminds me a little bit of the 5th season of Steven Universe. In that season, you get this grand revelation that Pink Diamond is actually the person who is accused of killing Pink Diamond, that being Rose Quartz. The show tried to deal with the negative fallout from this, but it wasn't quite willing to do that. It's not that kind of show. It especially was not willing to deal with the implications of the twist for Pearl's character. Her character journey goes from being one of transformation to one of mere stasis and loyalty. Steven Universe is an essentially warm-hearted show that could not pull off something that dark, and something with such profound sociological implications. The Dragon Prince is a little more ambitious in terms of dealing with the politics and sociology of this world, but it's still an optimistic show that would not really benefit from a twist like this. Theory 2. Callum is secretly half-elf. In the latest AMA, the creators of the show straight out confirmed that this is not true. Callum is not half-elf. His father was a human, not an elf. That is not why he can do magic like he does. Could the creators be lying? Possibly. I remember when the creators of Game of Thrones said time and time again before Season 6 that Jon Snow was not going to be brought back from the dead, and then, of course, he was brought back from the dead. But in that case, it was pretty clear that they weren't telling the truth. Everyone I knew who wasn't a complete and total sucker knew they were lying. But here, there's no reason to believe they're lying. More importantly, the twist is not a smart idea. What's great about Callum is specifically that he is not a chosen one at all. He may technically be a prince, but he was not born a prince. He only became one because his mother married the king before she died and then before the king died. He's not even the heir to the throne. His younger brother is. No, Callum becomes special because he chooses to be. He puts himself into that conversation. He masters magic not because of special abilities or because of some natural proclivity, but because of his own will and determination. Having him be half-elf would undercut that. To paraphrase a wonderful line Tenzin says to Korra near the end of Season 2 of The Legend of Korra, Callum should be a legend because of who he is, not what he is. If you want to hear me say more about this topic, I made a whole video about that. I recommend y'all check it out. It's just called Why Callum Should Not Be Half-Elf. I'll pause for a second so you can check that out if you want. Otherwise, I'm moving on to theory number 3. Claudia will continue down her path to the dark side. This is the prediction I'm most sure about of all the theories I'm going to discuss in this video. I've been caught in the middle of more than one debate in the fandom regarding whether Claudia should be redeemed. I can see both sides. Seeing her as an irredeemable monster at this point is altogether unreasonable, but I also don't think redemption should be easy. I don't think it should be handed out like Halloween candy to kids. I suppose what I would like, if it were up to me, is for her to continue down the path of darkness for a couple more seasons before she is finally redeemed. The redemption part is something I'm not quite sure whether it will happen, but the part about her continuing down the path of darkness and moral decay, at least for a few more seasons, is something about which I'm quite confident. At the start of the series, her hair is completely black. By the end of Season 2, part of it has turned white. By the end of Season 3, when she revives Viren, half her hair is white. Literally, her hair turns white because of her experience using dark magic, but symbolically, the transformation of her hair represents her moral decay and her slip into depravity. There's no reason to use this kind of clear visual metaphor unless your final plan is to have her entire head of hair go white at some point. And indeed, show co-creator Aaron Haas has retweeted multiple pieces of fan art depicting Claudia with an all-white head of hair. And it's not just that. Not even close. Before, her brother Soren was there to keep her on the straight and narrow. He was a jock, and he could be a bit cruel at times, but he had a good heart. Now he's gone. She has no one to hold her back from embracing the pure darkness and fighting against the human and elf alliance. While she is nowhere near as psychologically damaged as a character like Azula from Avatar: The Last Airbender, she is similar to Azula in that she ties her sense of self-worth heavily to her father's view of her. She really wants to feel worthy in the eyes of her family, especially her father. She thinks of herself as being the clever and smart one, the one who is never wrong, and she takes value in this. This is part of why she does not leave with Soren when he asks her to in Season 3. She can't bring herself to admit that she was wrong, and that he might be right. And ever since Claudia made that choice, it seems like her fate was sealed. Her soul has gradually hardened from that point onward. Theory number 4. Viren will die again. What will happen to Viren? Bringing him back from the dead was a major moment for Claudia's character, expressing that she has crossed a moral Rubicon of sorts. But what does that mean for Viren's character? I still don't know. Some believe that Rayla will kill him again, but I do not necessarily believe that this will happen, even if it is her intent at this point. It would not be dramatically sensible. It would be a kind of wasted storytelling move. Why would you bring a character back from the dead only to kill them again? That kind of devalues the resurrection. Admittedly, it is slightly better than bringing a character back from the dead and then doing absolutely nothing with them for the rest of the show. Here's looking at you, Jon Snow from Game of Thrones. But it would be a waste of space and time in a show that does have a tendency to feel kind of rushed at points. I do not believe Viren will fade from the story, but I do not believe he will continue playing the role of the main villain. He won't be the focal baddie that everyone's going up against from this point onward. He'll have a different role to play, but what will that role be? Will he turn against Eryth? It's not impossible. What role do y'all think he's gonna play? What is going to be his function in the story going forward? Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. So thank y'all for watching. Don't forget to like, and comment, and subscribe. Donate to my Patreon if you can and you want to see more videos like this. Keep watching The Dragon Prince. It is a brilliant, heartfelt, gorgeous, beautifully animated, powerfully empathetic show that's only getting better with time. It's doing so many interesting things with its character work and with its ideas about war and its after effects. I'm really interested to see where it goes from here. Anyway, tune in soon for my next analysis. It will be coming soon. Promise you that. Thank y'all again. Adios, comrades.